one of the most anticipated movies I wanted to see all year has finally arrived. I finally watched Mad Max Fury Road in RPX. And RPX is somewhat kind of like an IMAX in my hometown, but the system, man, and it's a bigger screen. This stars Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron. It is directed by George Miller. He's done all 3 Mad Max films of the franchise, including this 4th action-packed one. The 3rd one, it was like handled differently. If you watch my other video, I'll explain that. But let's talk about this movie, man. This movie was, I can't hold my excitement. It was awesome. It was so much fun. I haven't felt this good since I saw Dawn of Planet of the Apes. Fast and the Furious, move over. The king has come back. The madness has come back. The stunt work on here is phenomenal. George Miller knows how to do action set pieces. He's been in, doing family films for a while, but thank God he's back to this franchise. Tom Hardy as Max is great. He's a good, I like Tom Hardy. I think he's one of the best actors out there. I think he does a great, solid job as Max. And listen, if you know anything about this franchise, you know that Max hardly ever says anything. So Tom doesn't hardly ever says anything in this film. It's not a spoiler. He doesn't really talk in this film. But he does captivate a newer generation of Max. I do like Mel Gibson a little bit better. He had more charisma, a little bit more to him. But Tom Hardy has that brutal grittiness that you need for this character. Charlize Theron, she plays Furiosa. She was awesome. I really liked this character. I really liked just looking her eyes. Her eyes tells the whole story. She was fierce. She was great just right at the get-go. It doesn't feel like, I know there's a lot of themes being played, especially women in power or a man trying to bring them down, but nothing like that. I felt like Charlize Theron was just a character in this world, and she could hold her own to anybody. So there really is no, oh my God, this, a strong female character. No, she is just a strong character, and I think she did an amazing job what she's been given. And if you know anything, this film has gone through the loop, all over the place. Reshoots was supposed to come out, I believe, like 2 years ago. The stars, Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy, they don't see eye to eye. They're not. They definitely spat at each other. There definitely were some fights on the set, especially with George Miller too, with Tom Hardy. But somehow, look like World War Z, this has come together to make an awesome adventure. It's just a popcorn flick to the fullest. Even, it's not that much character, driven. It's more action set pieces, and there's a plot there, and the plot is simple enough where, that's fine, because the film itself looks beautiful. Like I said, the action sequences are just amazing. 85% of this film, I believe, I couldn't really tell, but 85% seemed like it was all practical and it was all stunt work. While the other was, the sandstorm. There's a set piece with the sandstorm. You've seen a trailer. There's some CGI moments you could tell, but it really blended really, really well. And the color scheme, the color palette in this film is great. It has that brightness to it, even though you're in the desert, and then it goes on to brightness, and then it goes on to watercolor, coolness. The color palette was awesome. Now, the pacing and the tone, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Terminator, the first one. Especially with the pacing of this film. You would get some moment, you get straight right from the action. You go action, then you go to pretty much character development or character interaction, then you go back to action. It felt like the first Terminator, honestly. Just not too much more character interaction, a lot more just subtlety, not too much dialogue in this film at all, but that's great. They actually used subtlety to its fullest, and I think you don't really need too much dialogue in a film like this, because every action these characters do, you just get it. You're on board. This whole movie just looks beautiful. The set design, the costumes, the way these villains look, the way these heroes look, just amazing. I just love I loved everything about this movie. I thought this movie was awesome. Any downfalls? Not really. I mean, if you love Mad Max, you're going to just love the hell out of this film. And if you're newer to the Mad Max franchise, I think you could just jump right in. There is some flashback sequences with Tom Hardy's character Max that people I don't think will really get unless they see the previous incarnations of the Mel Gibson films. But I think anybody could jump into this and just have such a great time. It did feel a little bit long. I think it was like over 2 hours. It did feel, but I went to a 10 o'clock screening, so the time-wise, the length of it and stuff, it wasn't necessarily, it's a bad thing and it's too long. Maybe it could have been cut a little bit down, but I think overall the experience was just amazing. The pacing, the tone, the music, the score. There's one character in here who constantly plays guitar, and he rocks on. He rocks on, man. He's an awesome character. The soundtrack was awesome. Loved every piece of the music. It just really intensifies, really builds up, really pumps you up while you're watching this film. Like I said, I think, but the main thing that this has is not uniqueness, but you've seen this kind of action sequences before, but it's just shot so beautifully. You see everything that's going on. Some, action sequences when it deals with cars and stunts and stuff, you don't necessarily see everything, but in this movie, you do see mostly everything that's going on. You understand what's happening. Overall, this movie just blew my mind, man. It really was a fantastic film. I really loved the hell out of this film. I'm going to watch it a couple more times. I enjoyed it way more than I enjoyed Avengers Age of Ultron, honestly. Is this movie simplistic? Yes, it is. It has a simple plot. There's some goofy moments in here that some people will probably take like, wait, what the hell is that? But overall, it's just a fun ride. Characters, action, acting. The acting could have been a little bit better, honestly, but it was good. It really just the look, the feel, the tone, the soundtrack, everything just blends so well for this film. Everything works. George Miller, really welcome back. You just blew my mind, man. This probably is, for me personally, the best out of all the Mad Max films, and I love Road Warrior, but I think this new incarnation is just what we need. It's what we need. Watch this film and go back and watch Fast and Furious 7 and you can see what's the better film, which one has more soul to it. I like Fast and Furious 7, but this just blows it out of the water. This is what the Fast and Furious franchise should take note by, because look at the stunt work, look at the action sequences. Just beautiful stuff, guys. So thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe, please like, let me know. This spoiler review on the way as well. Oh, so much to talk about in this movie. So much little details I gotta explain. Just a awesome movie experience. I really enjoyed myself. Had a smile on my face, and a lot of moments going through this film. And let's get some more Mad Max films, man. If George Miller, if he still wants to make more of these, if he has a passion to make more of these, make another trilogy, I'm all on board, because this is a great film, great blockbuster summer film to watch. It's going to be hard to top this as a blockbuster type film this summer, but we still got a few movies. Star Wars Episode 7, you're next on my bucket list. So thank you guys for listening, and like I say, grab a seat, make sure you have great popcorn to eat. I'll see you at the cinema.